10 questions and answers about how to persuade people effectively. What does persuasion mean? Persuasion means convincing someone to see your point of view, agree with your idea, or take a specific action. Or take a specific action, not by forcing them, but by communication with logic, emotion, and truth. Why is persuasion an important skill? Because it helps you influence others positively, whether in work, relationships, or daily life. Good persuasion builds cooperation, leadership, and confidence. What are the key elements of persuasion? There are three main elements: ethos, credibility; pathos, emotion; and logos, logic. This comes from Aristotle's theory of persuasion and are still used today in marketing, speeches, and negotiation. How can someone become more persuasive in conversations? Listen first, understand what the other person values, and then present your ideas in a way that connects with their needs and emotions. People are more open when they feel understood. And why is listening important in persuasion? Because persuasion is not about talking more, it's about understanding more. When people feel heard and respect, and they are far more likely to consider your perspective. What are some techniques that make persuasion more effective? Use stories, examples, and confident body language. Speak clearly, maintain eye contact, and use positive tone. Also, show in genuine and believe in what you're saying. Authenticity persuade more than pressure. How can emotion help in persuasion? Emotion connect faster than logic if you make someone feel something, hope, curiosity, or empathy. They're more likely to remember and act on your message. And what should you avoid when trying to persuade someone? Avoid being aggressive, manipulative, or dishonest. True persuasion comes from respect and clarity, not control. If you pressure others, they resist instead of listening. Can anyone learn to persuasive? Yes, persuasion is a skill, not a talent. Anyone can learn a through practice, observation, and self-awareness. They start with communicating clearly and start understanding human behavior. What's the key to becoming truly persuasive? The key is trust. When people trust your intentions and see that your message benefits them, persuasion happens naturally. Be kind, consistent, and authentic. That's what truly convinces others. Okay. General by Charles Bukowski, Chapter 24, Part 3. We must forget England and their use of our common tongue. Even, even though English usage is fine. Our own American language contains many deep wells of unexplored research. This research has yet and remain untapped, given the proper moment and the proper writers. There will one day be a literal explosion. Dum, dum, dum. Yes, Richard White was one of the few we never talked to. Actually, we were afraid of him. He wasn't somebody you could beat the shit out of. That would never make anybody feel better. You just want to get as far away from him as possible. You didn't want to look at him. You didn't want to look at those big lips. that big unfolding mouth, like the mouth of a bruised frog. You shunned him because you couldn't defeat Richard White. We waited and waited while Miss Grady's talk on about English versus American culture. We wait while Richard White went on and on. Richard's fierce banged against the underside of his desk. To top, and the little girls glanced at each other, and the guys were thinking, "Why is this asshole in this class with use? He's going to spoil everything." One asshole, and Miss Gridis will pull her skirt down forever. Tun, tun, tun. And then it stopped. Richard sat there. He was finished. We sneaked glance at him. He looked the same. Was his sperm lying in his lap, or eating in his, was it in his hand? The bell ranch, the bell rank English class was over. After that, there was more of the same. Richard White uh, dumped it off them while we listened to Miss Grady sitting on that front desk with her legs crossed. Hike. We boys accept the situation. After a while, we even were amused. The girls accepted but they didn't like it, especially Lily Fishman, who was almost forgotten. Besides Richard White, there was another problem for me in that class. Harry Walden. Harry Walden was pretty. The girls thought he had long golden curls and wore strange, delicate clothing. He looked like an 18th century fop. Lots of strange colors, dark green, dark blue, I don't know where the hell his parents found his clothes. And he always sat very still and listened attentively, like he understood everything. And the girl said he's a genius. He didn't look like anything to me. What I couldn't understand was the tough guys didn't mess with him. It bothered me. How could he get off so easy? I found him one day in the hall. I stopped him. "You don't look like shit to me," I say. "How come everybody thinks you're hot shit?" Walden glanced to his right, and when I turned my head to look in that direction, he slid around me as if I were something from the server, and then a moment later he was in his seat in the class. Almost every day it was Miss Grady showing it and Richard something away, and this guy while sitting there saying nothing and acting like he believed he was a genius. I got sick of it. I asked some of the other guys, "Listen, do you really think Harry Walden is a genius? He just sits around in his pretty clothes and doesn't say anything. What does that prove? We could all do that." They didn't answer me. I couldn't understand their feelings about his fucking guy. And it got worse. Word got out that Harry Walden was going to see Miss Grady's every night, that he was her favorite puppy, and that they were making love. It made me sick. I could just imagine him getting out of his delicate green and blue outfit, falling it across a chair, the climbing out of his orange sailing shorts and slim under the cheeks, where Miss Grady's cuddle his curly golden head on her shoulder and fondled it and other things as well. It was whispered about by the girls who always seemed to know everything, and even though the girls didn't particularly like Miss Grady's, they thought the situation was alright, that it was reasonable, and because Harry Walden was such a delicate genius and needed all the sympathy he could get.